Okay, word problems. Not your favorite, but let's try and get through it. And it's just using algebra, using an equation, we're going to find the answers to these. So the first couple problems don't have any word problem to it. It's just what we're going to do for these particular questions. So basically, it's trying to solve an equation by doing sine inverse for this one. Now, if it's on the unit circle, I want you to keep your answer in exact form. Use fractions. So sine is positive in quadrant 1 and 2. The first one for 0.5 is pi over 6. And the second one, 5 pi over 6. If it's not on the unit circle, just use your calculator, get the exact decimal. If it's on the unit circle, give me exact values. Secant, we're going to switch to cosine and just take the reciprocal. Use your calculator and you're going to get, so 1.9, it's on the top half. This is 3.14. 1.9 should be about there. So with cosine, to find the other one, we're going to go straight down. And we can just go in this direction. We could find the reference angle and then add it to pi. But we could just take 2 pi, subtract 1.9. So that's 6.28 minus 1.9. We get 4.4. So with cosine, you can go forward. That's your first answer. And if it's negative, you just subtract from 2 times pi. Cos negative 1. So in this case, we get pi. There's no other angle with the exact same value. So this one only has one answer. These ones, 2 answers. Sine, 2 answers. So that's kind of the base of what we're doing. We're just going to get more complicated with a full function. So in this first one, we're finding x. We want to know x if p equals 9. So we're going to take this 9 and replace the p. And it's algebra. We're going to start with adding, subtracting. And we're going to go in SAMDEV order. So minus 8. Divide by 3. And this is not on the unit circle, so I'm just going to do cos inverse to get my angle. Now with this one, 1.23, so our period is going to be 0 to 2 pi. If you want to calculate that, in this case, there is no b, it's a 1, so it's just 2 pi divided by 1. So we've got 0 here, 2 pi here, and the first answer we're moving 1.23 in this direction. We almost get to pi. So the other answer, we're going to subtract 1.23 from 2 pi. So 5.05 or 5.1, these are 2 answers, one going from 0, one going backwards from 2 pi. So this one, we're going to do the same thing. Pause the video, plug in the 6 into the equation and see if you can get both answers. So the first answer is 2.3. So what we're going to do, that's the first answer. Now we have to go to 2 pi and subtract 2.3. There's always one answer on either side of pi. we get two answers. So cosine's a little easier because you got one coming from 0 and the other one coming backwards from 2 pi. Okay, now we're going to do a sine graph, and I've got a simple graph right there. We know it's going up at first because it's positive sine, gets to the midpoint, and then goes underneath, comes back to the midpoint. And the midpoint is 21. So it goes up 8, back to midpoint, down 8, back to midpoint. That's key. If it's in the upper sections, we're going to have two answers in the first and second quadrant. If it's under 21, we're going to have two answers in quadrant 3 and 4. So we've got 25. So if we sine inverse this, we get 0.52 times 36, divide by pi, we get 6. Now, to find the second one, I've got to figure out, is it in the top portion or the bottom portion, quadrant 1 and 2, or 3 and 4? Now, to figure out, I'm going to find the period and I'm going to divide by pi over 36. Now, dividing by this is just like multiplying by 36 over pi. You'll notice that the pi's cancel out, and we get 72. So the full distance is 72. Halfway matches, it's 36, and we start at 0. 0, 36, 72. We're going to use this to find the second answer. So 6 is about there. Now it makes sense, 25 is above the 21, so my two answers are going to be quadrant 1 and 2. The first one is moving 6 units in, so I'm going to go to here and subtract 6. 36 is the midpoint. I'm going to subtract 6. So the second answer is 30. 6 and 30. And if you want, you can check your work. Take that number, plug it in, type everything into the calculator, and you should get 25. Okay, pause the video. Try this one. We're trying with 18. Plug it in. See if you can get both answers. Now, here's a problem with our answer. It's negative. Word problems, we don't want the negative answer. What's happening is it's going backwards down here instead of going to quadrant 3 and 4. And the calculator will always do that. It will give you the closest answer. We don't want that. So what we need to do is jump forward. Now we know one period is 72. So I'm just going to add 72 to this number, 67.6. So anytime you're in quadrant 3, 4, you're going to get a negative answer. Just add the period. Once you do that, you've got the first one. Now, the second answer is using the midpoint. 36 is halfway, half the period. And we know we went 4.4 this way. So now we have to take the 36 and add 4.4 to get the second answer. So first answer, 67.6. Second answer, 40.4. So we're just basically quadrant 3 and 4. So if it's positive, you're getting quadrants 1 and 2. If it's negative, you have to move to quadrants 3 and 4. So now let's try this one. We've got a sine graph, so we know it's going to be like that. So the period, we've got a pi in there. So it will be 2 hours from start to finish. So 0, 2, the midpoint will be 1. So the minimum, we know the midpoint is 21. The minimum will be 16. And 21 plus 5 for the max. So let's find the depth of the water after 1 hour. The depth. So we're going to change t to 1. And we're going to get 21 hours, or 21 meters. So which makes sense? We start at 21, that's the midpoint. After one cycle or 1 hour, it will be at 21 still, because it goes up and comes back to 21. So we're going to do 13 hours. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change this. I'm going to change it to, let's say, 12.25. So we get 24.5 meters. So at 12.25, we're in the upper part, we're moving up, and we're approaching the maximum. 19 meters deep. Now we know D. So we're going to plug in for D. And solve. And we should get 2 answers. Sometimes we only get 1. So this is not 1, 4, this is 1, 3. So what we need to do now is it's negative, which means we're not going negative, we're hopping into quadrants 3 and 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract 0.13 and we're going to add 0.13. So the first one's easy, 1.13. And subtracting. And we get our 2 answers. Now, if we want to check, we can take this number, plug it into your calculator, and do 5 sine pi times this number. And if you plug it in, you should get 19 meters deep. That's a way you can check your work. Okay, the next one, cosine graph. Cosines are a little bit easier. We don't have to think so much about which section, whether it's the first half or the second half. So it's a negative one. We're starting at the bottom. We go up to the maximum, come back to the minimum. 1 cycle. Period, we're going to do 2 pi. The pi's cancel, and we end up with 12. So that's going to be 12 months, which makes sense. 1 year, 12 months. The minimum, 12 minus 5.4. And the maximum, 12 plus 5.4. So the amount of daylight, the minimum is 6.6, the maximum is 17.4 hours, and it changes over 12 months. After 12 months, it goes back to where it was. So find the hours on April 1st. Now, Let's make a little chart here. A sine or cosine graph as well, sine graph, they always start with 0, and it makes sense that January is first on the graph, which means January is 0, 0 to 1. So if we want April 1st, even though it's the 4th month, we want April equals 3. So we're going to plug in 3 into the equation. So 12 hours, which makes sense. It's basically the equinox. After 3 months, we go from the minimum to the equinox. Another 3 months, we'll hit the maximum. So 17.4, we can plug it in, do it mathematically, or we can say, hey, it's 12 months for the full period. To reach the maximum, it's the halfway marker. So it takes 6 months. And again, if we continue our little chart, July 1st. It takes 6 months to get to the maximum, to the midpoint. And the last one, 10 hours a day. So we want to take the H, replace it with 10, and this is one, we're doing the algebra, so we'll actually get 2 answers to this. So plug it into your calculator, you get 2.3 months, but keep in mind 2.3 is in March, not February. And 1/3 of the way through March, we're looking about March 10th, roughly. To find the second answer, we're going to go to the end, 12, and we're going to go backwards. So we already did 2.3 from 0, 12 minus 2.3. And if we continue our table, so October is 9, so this is near the end of October, probably roughly October 20th, 1/3 of the way to November, or 2/3 of the way to November.